65 plus include other infectious disease like for ill return travelers. So not only just the typhoid fever, but it was for 1 year and the 11 cases for typhoid fever. The other one done in Canada, 56 cases during 4 years, 14 case average like per year. The other one, 225 for 6 years, 38. Cooper study, 59 cases, 14 years duration, 4 years like average. And the last one here in Australia and New South Wales, 71 cases during 2 years, like 35 per year. This like result also like about vaccine administered to the tourists, to the travelers, according to like subject of travel, like tourist, business, PFR, like visiting friends and relatives, and travelers for other reasons. So see, like also the number are just the 3 studies I use in this presentation. The number are varies. Like we can see the large number in the 3 studies with the BFR. Like see, first study 425, so 71%. Second one 341, 19.9%, and last one 94.4%. Yeah, that's last one, like acquisition of the disease during through like the travel destination. So I use 4 studies to give you some like idea. First one, so from total 36 acquired in like India or Indian subcontinent. 4 cases in Middle East, 1 case Sub-Saharan Africa. Second one, this Australian study in New South Wales. From total of 71 cases, 55 cases in India, subcontinent India, and 1 case in the Middle East. Wasn't any case reported in Sub-Saharan Africa. Third one, total 34 cases, 26 in India, 2 cases in the Middle East, 1 case Sub-Saharan Africa. And the last one for Cooper, from total 59 cases, also 49 in India, 3 cases in Middle East, while 25 is Sub-Saharan Africa. The total will be look more because he used the result from like typhoid and paratyphoid in his study. And we see from this 4 studies the large portion, most the infection coming from Indian or Indian subcontinent like Southeast Asia. Discussion from the table result, major finding, the rate of infection are variables between study due to like study period or country. Total number of cases are reported. From Mahon, highest rate 293 per year, this all around West Europe. This study done in Switzerland, but they have center around Western Europe to report for them. From another perspective, vaccine administration, the high proportion are VFRs, like visiting friends and relatives. Most migrants like going for trips back to see their families. Major area of acquisition subcontinent India, I mentioned that, and Southeast East Asian countries in all studies. Also, result varies, depends on the study. Some studies like long time, 22 or 14, even 4 years, but some studies are shorter time, just 1-2 years. And well, longer time studies more reliable and dependable, like not just 1 or 2 years, maybe not a very good idea. Also, the result varies from one country to another. Like I use countries like the US, Canada, Australia, and West Europe. Even the numbers different between countries in the same, like West Europe, from one country to another. Still, international travelers still major contribution to transmission of infectious disease, including typhoid fever. That's many diseases, like, but one of them typhoid fever. And annual numbers still largely unchanged. However, there is slight decrease in number because improve, like in developing country, improve clean water, sewage, sanitation, educating people. I mentioned this. Very major contributor to the disease due to many the VFRs, visiting friends and relatives, major contributor to the disease due to many causes, like many factors. Most of them, they are younger than non-VFRs, more frequently travel with children, and travel to endemic countries, less frequently stay in hotels, mostly travel in unorganized trip, sometimes like take long time, average more than 1 month, to the country of origin, of course. Most of them, they have less access to pre-travel services to like financial or language or cultural issues. Pre-travel service could play major role for controlling infectious disease in general and typhoid fever specific. Good knowledge about management and control of the disease when traveling to endemic countries. Major risk for enteric fever, VFRS, travelers and military personnel, because maybe mostly the duration of time they spend in different countries, sometimes without good arrangement their travels. And young travelers between 18 and 30 years and longer duration consider major contributors to the spread of the diseases. And thanks for Dr. Peter for help and support. If you have a question.
Okay, are there any questions?
With the percentages for the vaccine, was that percentages of travellers who had taken the vaccine, as in what they were categorised as, or what percentage of that category took vaccines?
These people, they took vaccine, especially typhoid vaccine, depends on the reason of travel and the destination of their travel.
So that the numbers there,
Yeah.
is that how many people took the vaccine?
Exactly.
Not the percentage of that category that took the vaccine.
Well, for example, first study 24 cases, they took the vaccine from 4% of the tourists, because these people maybe travel to endemic area, exactly.
Okay, so the percentage is what that number is as
Yeah.
a percentage of the total number that they studied.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. I just wasn't too sure about that.
So does that mean that the visiting friends and relatives, because that's the highest percentage,
Most of them took vaccines.
so most of them took vaccines,
Yeah,
is that right?
see, in all studies, the highest number they took vaccine, because most of these people, they are migrant. If we go to our countries, which is mostly endemic with the disease.
But I think in one of your other slides, you might have indicated that the visiting friends and relatives had one of the highest rates of actually.
Yeah, so I was a bit confused because
So what's, because you'd think that any group that have a very high percentage of the vaccine would have less typhoid cases.
Well, this is the high percent of VFR, they took the vaccine before they travel in. No, this according to the destination of travel. This administered to travelers.
Yep.
So.
So
both of them high, because in this case, they took the vaccine because they traveled to endemic area. And here, it's not mentioned here, but here, according to the destination of travel, the highest common in India.
yeah, so in other words, yeah, it'd be interesting to see that linking up the vaccination rate incidence rate of the country, because you've got there India being the highest.
Yeah, one of the
So
studies.
that would be I'm assuming that's one of the highest groups, if you're travelling there, to have the vaccine.
One of the study in the US, like even if you have the vaccine, after 5 years, you're still at risk of the disease. After 5 years.
That would be the interesting thing to try and sort of like get the detail behind the data is, I suppose, how many people have the vaccine and then still end up getting typhoid.
Yeah.
If there's some way of finding out that,
Yeah.
that sort of data, depending on, because obviously if someone is not travelling to a typhoid destination, they would have less.
Yeah, the pre-travel service, they give you advice, like
Yeah.
if you're traveling to India, it's different if you travel to the US or Canada
Yeah.
or Europe. So the countries, if endemic, they advise you with the less vaccine you have to take.
So I suppose what that could be representing, even though India's got a high, is the highest destination of typhoid,
Like,
and probably the vaccination rate is probably highest. You've still got, if you still have 25% of people unvaccinated, you'd still have a significant number that probably.
yeah, there is like more studies I include in my research, but this just for slide. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
put 10